Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello. This is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. And as promised, we're going to go back in time, Back to the Future, if you will. What a great movie Back to the Future was. What a great, 3 movies. Am I the only one that thought the Back to the Future 3, when the Western, I just love Westerns. I thought that was my favorite. Anyway, we're going to go back in time to October of 2017 when we had a conversation with the at-large representative, Nancy Byrge. At the time, she was the appointed by former Mayor Thomas McMasters to the Ward 5 seat, now the at-large representative. We're going to go back to 2017 when she was running for the at-large seat, and this is the conversation that she and I had on a podcast I did before, Inspired and Admired. So, without further ado, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Nancy Byrge. She is running for the at-large seat in the city of Huber Heights. Miss Byrge, thank you for joining Inspired and Admired.
Well, thank you, Matt, for having me.
First off, I think it would be good if the listeners got to know you a little bit. Give us a little bit about your background. Tell us about yourself, your family, whatever you like. Yeah.
Okay. We have lived in Huber Heights for 16 years. Our son graduated from Wayne, and our grandson attended the Huber Heights City Schools. I retired from Wright-Patterson after 30 years of service in planning, program management, contract negotiations, and leadership. I graduated from the Defense System Management College and have a Bachelor of Science degree in management and a Master of Science in administration from Central Michigan University. I served as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for 4 years and the Charter Review Commission, which you were also on.
Yes.
And I am currently a member of the Miami Valley Military Affairs Association, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan Committee, the Brent Pike Revitalization Commission, and I serve as City Council Representative for the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. I have volunteered extensively for 10 years for the Fish Food Pantry, for Huber Heights City Schools, and as an AARP tax aide, doing free taxes for low and moderate income residents and some people that come from other communities also.
Nice.
And I am involved in several nonprofit community groups committed to raising awareness on multiple community issues and assisting those in need.
Great. Thank you. First question is, why are you running for at-large? What made you want to do that?
Well, I have spent the last 18 months working very hard for the residents of Ward 5. I've interacted with them. I keep in close contact with many of them in my ward, even though they don't have a problem. I just check in with them periodically. I've been very responsive in resolving the many personal and neighborhood issues, both in and outside of Ward 5. I've always been available to help anyone that has asked for my assistance. I've held multiple ward meetings, but found that the same people seem to attend, and it made me realize that as much as I enjoy talking to those people, I needed to find a way to reach a larger audience. So I created a Ward 5 Facebook page to keep them informed of legislative issues, events, community resources, job fairs, city services, like when they're doing hydrant flushing or road repairs, new businesses coming in, different sporting events, and drug awareness, especially with respect to the wonderful efforts of our Miami Valley Young Marines.
Right.
I've always been available to assist anyone. And because a lot of my initiatives have involved not just Ward 5, but the total community, then when it came time to run, I went to Mr. Campbell, who is the current at-large council person, and explained to him that I felt I could better serve, and was currently serving, more of the community than just Ward 5, because I have residents from other wards who weren't getting the response that they needed from their respective council people. They would come to me, and I would help them get through what they, either direct them to the right person or help them solve their problem. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to, to run again this time. I've introduced multiple initiatives to improve the quality of life in Heber Heights, and the very first one I did shortly after I got on council was to get our video streaming system upgraded so that everyone, including you, Matt,
yes,
have better quality access when you watch our public meetings, no matter where you are in the country. It allows us, when we go to conferences or something, that we can still, dial in and or hook in and watch the meetings while we're not there. I've also been working to improve the entrance to the Southern Gateway to our city on Brant Pike. I was successful in getting a digital sign installed at Cloud Park, which I don't know if you've seen a picture of it yet.
I have.
But I hope to, so we're going to use it to announce community events, and we have the capability for code red alerts to override every message, so that if you're not home or you don't have code reds on your phone or whatever, you'll be able to see them on the board. And this sign has been projected. Yeah, this sign has been projected to pay for itself through sponsorships in 5 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's paid for within 2 years. I mean, because if somebody comes in and they sponsor the Marigold Festival, some of their sponsorship fee will pay for their advertising on the Cloud Park sign. So if we have tournaments and the tournament sponsor decides that they want to advertise, then that will also go toward the cost of the sign. So I'm very confident that we'll have no problem paying for that one. And that was part of the when I look at a project, I always look at alternative funding before trying to use general funds.
Mm-hmm.
And before we installed the sign, when we removed the old sign, they took that space out, and now they're putting in an extra turn lane so that when we have the big events, tournaments, 4th of July celebrations or whatever, now we have 2 lanes of traffic that can exit the park. Actually, 3 lanes now can exit the park, which will prevent the backup that we've experienced over the years. And it's going to be a wonderful improvement when they get it done, which should be very shortly.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're also going to get lighted bus shelters, not only installed there, but in 6 other sites throughout the city. And when I proposed this, we went through RTA to get this grant, and the grant will fund 85% of the cost of all the shelters. And I intend to go back, if I get elected, I intend to go back and ask for another round of lighted bus shelters, because these are going to the most heavily used, but we have many bus stops that there's nothing there but a bench, and we need to make sure that our residents are covered when it's raining. I'd also like to see our street design, our layout at the south end of Brant Pike match the other gateways to our city, which would, like they have up near the Meijer, which would include an island with hardscaping and plants in the middle of the road,
mm-hmm.
So that it is consistent and it's a real welcome into our community as people come from need more. I've also recommended that a sidewalk be installed from Kittredge to Cloud Park to make it easier for people using mobility vehicles, pushing a stroller or riding a bicycle or they just need better access to the park or to shop at the businesses that are down in that area. And that was going to cost about $100,000. So we're searching for a grant or help from neighboring communities or the county to help pay for this. But this is going to take a little bit more coordination between communities.
Sure.
Another of my top priorities has been to upgrade our parks, and I know you're aware of, I introduced legislation to hire a consultant to help us develop a Parks and Recreation master plan. And that's rolling along very nicely. They're currently in the process of interviewing all the park stakeholders, determine what our current needs are, what future amenities our residents want to see, and to optimize the land that we have available in our park system. And our plan is to improve all of our sports fields to enable us to draw tournaments and additional revenue into the city.
Yeah, that's
and
been
again,
big.
to make all of our parks accessible to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I've worked on that kind of crosses ward lines is I've been working with the city engineer to clean up the main culvert that runs under Powell Street and behind many homes along several streets. I guess over the last 7 or 8 years, the stream's filled with trash, debris, weeds, and all that kind of stuff. And it's really a health hazard at this point. The water flow's been reduced to a trickle, and there's standing water there, and it's not safe for people to go down the embankment that's kind of eroded out to try to get their grass mowed. But we just got in all the bids from the contractors to correct that situation, and this should happen this fall. So I'm really glad to hear that, because I get a call about every 2 months from the residents over there saying what's going on. And accessibility to our city resources is a huge issue to me, especially the lack of sidewalks. There are multiple locations that are real safety issues around the city that need to be addressed. And I see so many people on mobility vehicles that have to ride in the middle of the road because of a lack of sidewalks. And I would like to continue my work to correct this by serving another term. But again, I want to stress that all my initiatives began with an investigation of alternative funding to limit the use of taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, as you can see, many of my initiatives affect the entire city.
Sure.
And that's basically, it's a long answer for your question.
No,
but
that's fine. That's great.
I wanted you to see where I'm coming from.
So you ran through a lot of the initiatives that you would like to work on and help that way. Are there any things that you feel that Huber Heights as a city outside of those initiatives would need work with? Are there anything else that you could think of?
Would need more work with?
Sure. Anything else that you see needs more work? Yeah.
Yeah, we need more community development. I'm a strong supporter of continued residential and commercial development, and incentivizing businesses, and especially in the southern part of town where we're doing the Brant Pike revitalization. I will continue my efforts to improve the city's quality of life.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
By, like I said, installing sidewalks. I'd like to see bike trails. I'd like to see a dog park and additional playgrounds on the sports fields so that the siblings of the kids that are playing, will be occupied and nearby the parents so they can be watched. The parents can watch both them and the kids that are playing golf. And we need to build on our successes today in that area while working to expand small businesses and add community and family-oriented activities, but to do this in a fiscally responsible way. And I think we need to hire a full-time economic director to promote the Heights on Executive Boulevard and to help us more strongly focus on the Brant Pike revitalization. And I also think we need a full-time grant writer to allow our city to capitalize on the thousands and thousands of grant opportunities available. I know that a lot of the council members, including me, have provided